here we have the whole text. Below down, we have some questions. So what question is it? It is drag and drop question. What does it mean? At the end of each paragraph, some part of this paragraph is taken away, then the statements are put here, and you have to find which sentence finishes these paragraphs. And how do you do it? It is like insert question. The sentence that you are going to insert here should be logically, coherently suitable for this one, for the paragraph. The topic will be the same. They will, of course, talk about this topic in the paragraph, and sentence will be suitable to that paragraph. So, the instruction says, some parts of the following passage have been removed. Drag the given statements to the blanks to make a meaningful text. 2 of the statements will not be used. We're going to use, here we have 8, we're going to use only 6 of them. Each statement will logically, coherently finish the paragraph and make whole text meaningful. That is the purpose, meant to get meaningful text. Now, please, I'm going to read it, and I will give you some time to find the answers. Tidal power, paragraph 1. Among all renewable energy sources, tidal power stands out for one crucial advantage: predictability. While solar energy depends on clear skies and wind energy is contingent upon atmospheric conditions, the tides are governed by the gravitational pull between the Earth, Moon, and the Sun. This cyclical, dependable rhythm makes tidal energy uniquely reliable. Unlike wind or solar, which can fluctuate unpredictably, tides rise in fall and fall with such consistency that they can be forecast years in advance. So here they mainly talk about what? Talk about its advantage, which is predictability. And they compare it to solar energy. That solar energy depends on the something, then yes. So the comparing with solar energy, they talk about the advantage of this tidal energy. Then, unlike wind, here we have other renewable energy sources like wind, solar. Unlike them, this tidal energy can fluctuate. Solar and wind can fluctuate unpredictably. They are unpredictable. Tides is vice versa. Rise and fall with such consistency. There is consistent activity going on. And we can forecast the tide years in advance. So let's have a look at the answer choices, read them, and please find which one is suitable to end this paragraph. And write in the answer in the Q&A box, please. If you'd like, I can show the text again. Okay, I will show the text again. Have a look at it again. Maybe you need to read. It's Ahmed. What did you want to say, please? Ahmed, I think you wanted to say something because you raised your hand.
Oh, no, I don't know what's happening, but maybe
Yeah, your
just
hand is
accidentally. I think I accidentally just click on lower hand,
okay.
but
I
I'm
think maybe
sorry
you
for
want to
that.
read the text. That's why you raised your hand. Teacher, can we go back? Okay, no
Yeah,
problem.
I'm sorry about that.
Okay, it's okay. Um, yeah, Gökhan, I think you want to say something. Yeah, Gökhan,
I think answer is the C, ma'am.
you can write your answers in the Q&A box, okay? Because if you say, others will not have the chance to answer it. That's why please write it in the answer chat box, Q&A box. Now let's go to the questions again. Maybe more people will answer it. Olacak. Yes. Okay, and C is the correct answer. Yes, of course, they do talk about C here. And we will mark it and go back to the text to read the second paragraph. Just let me mark it, please. C. As a result, tidal energy is viewed as one of the most dependable renewable energy sources available. That gives you the correct answer, the relationship between them. Because text talks about dependable, predictable, etc. Paragraph 2. Yes, okay. One of the most established methods of harnessing tidal energy is through the construction of tidal barrages. Large dam-like structures built across estuaries or bays with a sufficient tidal range. For a barrage to be viable, the difference between high and low tide generally needs to exceed 5 meters. During the high tide, water flows through gates in the barrage into a basin. Once the tide begins to recede, the gates are closed, trapping the water inside. As the sea level outside drops below the water level inside the basin, the trapped water is released through turbines generating electricity. So, actually, here they do talk about the process itself, how it happens. Now let's go to the answer choices. Please, your answers in Q&A box, please. And I'm going to check. And I will remove it down to help you. Maybe it will be viable. practical. Every time I ask my students to learn these words, viable. So maybe you can read it together. Okay. Anybody else? One more minute and we will go to the next paragraph, please. This text in e-TEP exam should be like text 4, because as you go further towards the end of your reading section, texts become more difficult, question types become more difficult, because this is like main idea question. You need to understand the main idea of the whole paragraph. The first text is easy and the question types are easy. F, exactly, this is the correct answer. Very good. And here, ebb means naturally the water gets low. That is less. Ebb means less. Natural ebb. Actually, going down and up. The tide goes, it makes the water go down and up. That's the ebb. Yes, next paragraph is paragraph 3. Okay, and I'd like to read it. The type of turbine used in a tidal barrage can significantly affect performance, maintenance, and energy output. All turbines or turbines are positioned directly in the water flow and surrounded by it. While effective, they require the flow to be stopped completely during maintenance, resulting in energy production downtime. Rim turbines, by contrast, have generators positioned at right angles to the turbine blades, allowing easier maintenance access. This time, mainly we discussed kinds of turbines. We can say turbine or turbine. Yeah, I can see your answers, guys. That's why I I wait for students. I can see Ayhan Korkmaz. I can see your answers. I check. I wait for some people to answer. Then I say yes, it is F. Thank you, by the way, for the answer. Okay. Mhm. Okay, one more minute and we will go to the next paragraph. Anybody? Okay, yes, you're right. The answer is A, because for this reason, wind turbines are often chosen when easy maintenance access is priority. So they do talk about maintenance, so directly connected. Next one is paragraph 4. Guys, this one is difficult, so be a little bit more attentive, okay? Yes, paragraph 4. An alternative to barrage systems is tidal An alternative to barrage systems is tidal stream technology, which relies on the movement of water through natural constrictions in shallow seas to generate power. These tidal streams occur when the incoming or outgoing tide is forced through a narrow channel, increasing the speed of the water. The concept is similar to wind power. Underwater turbines are used to convert kinetic energy into electricity. However, water is approximately 800 times denser than air, meaning that the turbines must be smaller and structurally stronger to withstand immense pressure. Because they are typically submerged and do not require large structures like barrages, tidal stream systems tend to have a smaller environmental footprint. Now, please have a look at it. You have different answers, I think. Some said D, some said B, and some said E. So let's be a little bit careful, please. This one is challenging. Okay, let's have a look at the text. Yeah, but mainly the last part, last sentence, because this sentence should be, yeah, of course, should agree with the whole meaning, but especially last sentence, it is the continuation of the last sentence, because they are typically submerged and do not require large structures like barrages. Tidal stream systems tend to have a smaller environmental footprint. What does it mean? Because they are typically submerged. If something is submerged, does it have a visual impact? If something is submerged, it doesn't have visual impact. So this visual impact is related to this part, submerging part. Submerge is being under the water. Then, environmental footprint. Yes, it will have a smaller environmental footprint. What does it mean? How much carbon dioxide it produces, and it is small. So that's why sustainable development. D is the correct answer. E, this long-term viability makes tidal power potentially attractive option. Which long-term viability? Do we have anything here? Like Gökhan, you said E. Can you explain it? Why did you choose E? I tried to let you speak. Oops. D is the answer. Gökhan, I tried to let you speak, but I couldn't. I'm so sorry. Okay, D is the correct answer, but here you need a little bit more paraphrasing ability. It was hard. I agree. But D is the correct answer. Relationship is visual impact because of submerging, sustainable development because of environmental footprint. Yes, let's continue. Paragraph 5. Yes, first let me read it. Despite the potential benefits, one of the greatest barriers to large-scale deployment of tidal power, particularly barrages, is cost. The initial capital required for constructing a tidal barrage is immense, and payback periods can span several decades. This makes such projects less attractive to private investors, especially in the absence of government support or subsidies. However, once operational, tidal power facilities have remarkably low maintenance and operational costs. So I will not talk a lot. I will let you think about it. Okay, you are going well. Bravo. We have H as well. Exactly. The answer is E. This long-term viability makes tidal power a potentially attractive option for public investment. We did talk about investment, of course, and also this long-term, yes, let's find this one, long-term viability. Which words help us? It has potential benefits, but our sentence says that despite this one, it has many problems, like investing is a problem here in the text. And to attract the private investors is difficult because of the money. However, once operational, it means that once they have already installed it, tidal power facilities have remarkably low maintenance and operational costs. So later, after installing it, if you have installing money, so after it becomes really, really low cost effective, something cost effective. That's why we did talk about E here. Very good. Yeah, very good. Low maintenance and operational cost. I cannot see other E. You mean that you cannot see other than E? I understood it like this. Only E is the correct answer, Ayhan. Okay, let's read the last one. As with any major infrastructure project, tidal power, particularly in the form of barrages, can have significant environmental and social consequences. the construction phase often leads to increased traffic, workforce migration, and short-term economic activity, which may benefit local economies. Barrages can also serve as transport links, supporting road or rail crossings. Some proposals even include integrating with wind turbines into the structure to diversify energy output. However, the ecological consequences are more complex. Okay, anybody else? I don't know what you are talking about. Sorry, cannot see other. Other what? Can you explain it a little bit more? Cannot see any document or something like that? Okay. Below is this one. What about now? Yes, Ayhan, you answered. Okay, good. Now let's see what it's saying. So environmental and social consequences we did talk about. So it leads to increased traffic. Is it good or bad? It's bad. Sorry, bad. Workforce migration. It can have any, meaning. It can be negative, it can be positive. Short-term economic activity, benefit to locals. So it has mostly good sides. Whereas can also serve as transport links, good, supporting road rail crossings. Until here, everything is good. They even want to integrate it with wind turbines. It's also good. And we have this word again. However, the ecological consequences are more ecological. Ecology, so we deal with the environment kind of thing. Yes, so some said H, let me read it. Therefore, environmental assessments must be carried out individually to evaluate site-specific risks and benefits. So it says it is complex. If something is complex, it means that it has both sides. So we need to be more careful. And G says that consequently, tidal stream generators are typically installed near river mouth. But we don't have anything related to rivers. Where should they be installed? Ecological problems. We have ecological consequences must be taken into consideration. Why? Because they can be risks and benefits. This is the correct answer. H, I'm sorry. So G is a distractor, B is a distractor. What B says, it is one of the oldest methods of energy production still in use. Maybe you are expert in this field, but unfortunately we cannot put our own ideas into any reading because that the instruction says that answer to the questions based on the text. So this based on the text word means that do not add any of your knowledge. Maybe you are a professor in this field, but you cannot put it. Maybe they have written something wrong, but you cannot have your own idea here. That is the rule. Instruction. What instruction says, we do that one. So, again, nothing about river mouse and nothing about still today, this is the method of energy production still in use today. One of the oldest. Maybe it is one of the oldest, but we cannot use it because text doesn't say it. Text didn't mention about history because it says one of the oldest. Text didn't talk about any time references. Yes, guys, any questions? That's all about reading, by the way. We will have one more lesson before the exam. Next Friday it should be, and on that day we're going to have listening and one last reading, and that reading is one of the hardest questions, actually the last one, because we had a look at all the question types here. And the last one, we are going to do our last lesson and listenings. We are going to do listenings. Feel free to come if you have time, of course. Okay, now please your questions if you have any. Writing we had yesterday. So look at second lesson. Watch the second lesson, please. And there are handouts in Ümit Hoca's Telegram group. If you are a member, please download it and read it and watch the video lesson 2. Very welcome. Okay, I see that's all. Thank you for coming. See you next lesson. Bye for now.